Look what happens in the text. I mean, bitter water. They're frustrated. They are fussing and murmuring and complaining. And they begin to turn on Moses. Look at verse 24. 24 says, so the people, when they got to Marah, so the people grumbled against Moses, saying, what are we to drink? What's up, Moses? You brought us out here. You did this to us. Isn't that just like us? I mean, folk will turn on you in a minute. I mean, when we crossed the Red Sea, I was all that in a bag of potato chips. But now that we've come across the Red Sea, and you experience a little trouble, I knew you wouldn't buy that no way. Be careful. I mean, love you one day and ready to kill you the next day. They couldn't get any water. They were thirsty. And when they found water, it was bitter. They turned on Moses and said, what are we going to drink? Why did you bring us out here? You could have left us where we were. They complained. And my friend, if you're going to be amenable to the master's plan, get this, you got to refuse to complain. Ooh, I know it's hard. I know you feel the pain of life. I know it's grappling with you and it's bothering you, but you got to refuse to complain. And my friend, many of us are missing out on the blessings of the Lord because every time somebody walk our way, we got to tell them how bad it is. We got to tell them how rough it is and how frustrated I am right now. And I wish it could be this way. And I don't deserve this. I don't deserve. I want to ask somebody, well, who you think deserve it? If you don't want to go, who you want to go through it then? I don't deserve this. Sit down and shut up. You got to refuse to complain because you got to understand that not only is he maturing you, but God has a master plan. God has a purpose for you. God's working some things out for your good. And you all got to believe Romans 8:28. You got to know that he's able to bring good out of bad situations. You got to trust him. You got to trust him. Review. I'll tell you next, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You ain't talking to your neighbor. Tell your neighbor, I don't want to hear it. You got to refuse to complain. You got to refuse. I'm going to say it a couple times. Let it get down in your spirit. You got, stop. So you ain't moving your lips, but your head still talking. You got to refuse to complain. Let this be, don't call nobody when you leave church today. You got to, we already know you broke. We know it. We know you got fired too. We already know. Refuse to complain. Watch Moses. They're fussing. They cussing Christians. Look, fussing and cussing and murmuring and complaining. They upset. They're ready to fight. You know, some Christians will fight too. They fight. I mean, they're bothered. They're upset. Look, Moses, what are we going to drink? Watch the B part of the text. Verse 24 says that they went to Moses and said, what are we going to drink? Verse 25 says, then Moses cried out to the Lord. See, Moses teaches us that oftentimes when you're disappointed with life, it's because you're talking to the wrong person. See, they're grumbling among themselves and talking about how bad it is and mad at God and mad at each other. Moses said, I ain't got time to turn on you. I got to talk to the master about this thing. And the text says that Moses cried out to God. That's how you become amenable to the master's plan. You got to refuse to complain, and you got to release that burden to the Lord. When the last time you really talked to God? When the last time you really gave over to God? When the last time you had a real one-on-one with God? When the last time you told God what was really on your heart? When was the last time you really let let the tears flow from your eyes and the snot come out of your nose and tell the Lord, I can't make it without you. When the last time you just bowed yourself before the Lord and says, I need you. In fact, you ought to practice right now. Throw your head back and tell God, I need you. I need you. I need you, God. It reminded me of last week's message. You remember what we talked about last week and how Peter was walking on the water and he took his eyes off Jesus and he began to sink, and there was 3 words that the Bible says that Peter said. Just 3 words. It's a real simple prayer. And you got to understand now, his homeboys were on the ship behind him. He could have turned around and said, y'all help me. Come help me. I'm sinking. But he wasn't trying to talk to them. He had an audience with the master. And he said 3 words. Lord, help me. That's what somebody ought to say today. Go ask him to help you. Lord, help me. Lord, help me. You gotta release that thing. Go ahead. You still trying to hold on to it. Go throw it up in the air. Say, I'm through with it. I give it over to you, God. Tired of trying to figure it out. Tired of trying to work it out. Tired of trying to make it come together. Release it. Release the burden. Moses cried out to the Lord. Now, y'all, I'm going to try to do this. But I feel a shout down in my belly. I ain't been able to shout like I wanted to all day today. I've been trying to get this message out. But I want you to see what happened in the text next. Because when you get an audience, oh, God. when you get an audience with God and stop complaining about your situation, release that thing to the Lord. Look at the text. Look at verse 25. Then Moses cried out to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a piece of wood. He threw it into the water, and the water became sweet. You ain't getting it. Watch it. Everybody complaining. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. Why I gotta go through this? Well, it's always happening to me. Moses didn't waste his time. Moses cried out to the Lord. And when he cried out to the Lord, the text said, watch it, y'all, that the Lord showed him a tree. Y'all don't know when to shout. Let me shout. It could have said, the Lord created a tree. The tree was there all along.